Let me ask you something. What if almost everything you think you know about productivity is, well, it's just wrong? What if that endless hunt for the perfect system is actually the very thing holding you back? See, it's never been about managing time, it's about mastering your attention. And in this explainer, we're going to dive into how you can finally, truly take back control of your day.
You know that feeling, right? You get to the end of the day and you are just completely wiped out. You've been busy from the second you woke up. But then you look at your to-do list and it's just staring back at you, practically untouched. It feels like you've been running on a treadmill all day. All the effort, all the sweat, but you haven't gone a single inch forward. So what is the deal?
Well, that feeling of spinning your wheels, it comes from one single, really deeply flawed idea that we've all kind of bought into: the time management trap. So here's the big mindset shift we absolutely have to make. We get so obsessed with finding the perfect app, the ultimate planner, the fanciest calendar system, as if the problem is with time itself. But look, time is a constant. It doesn't care about your schedule. The real variable, the only thing you can actually control, is you. It's your focus, your energy, your attention. Okay, so how do we actually start managing ourselves? For a minute, I want you to forget all about clocks and calendars. Instead, let's try a little thought experiment. Picture yourself as the captain of a ship. This boat, it represents everything, all your goals, your projects, your entire life. And this boat is floating on the vast, unstoppable river of time. And this is exactly why time management is a losing game. The river just flows. You can't fight the current, you can't magically create more hours in the day, and you for sure can't stop it from moving forward. Trying to control it is like trying to stop the tide. It's just a force of nature. So if we can't control the river, what can we control? The rudder. Our attention is the one tool we have to navigate this whole thing. It's what lets us steer around the rocks of distraction and avoid getting swept away by whatever current along. It's that simple. Where you point your attention, that's where your boat goes. But here's the thing, steering your ship isn't some constant brute force effort. Your brain is not a machine. Your ability to focus, to really grip that rudder and make a decisive turn, it comes and goes in waves. The best captains don't fight the ocean. They learn to ride the waves. And you need to learn to ride the waves of your own energy. All right, so what does all this mean for the tools we use every single day? It means we need to stop treating them like blunt instruments and start using them with a bit more finesse, a little more intelligence. Think about your own day for a second. It's not just these big chunks of work time and home time. No, it's filled with dozens of these tiny little black holes. You know, the 3 minutes you're waiting for the microwave, the 5 minutes for a file to upload. These moments, they seem totally harmless, right? But add them all up and they just suck our attention and mental energy into a void. So instead of instinctively grabbing your phone and letting your focus just bleed out into the endless scroll, you've got to reframe these moments. Waiting for the kettle to boil isn't dead time. It's a pit stop. It's a chance to refuel. The simple act of doing nothing, just staring out the window for a minute, is a small act of rebellion against distraction. It preserves your mental fuel and it keeps you ready for whatever's next. Now let's talk about everybody's favorite productivity tool, the timer. We all do it, right? We set it for 25 minutes and we feel super disciplined. But are we? Or are we just setting an alarm that's guaranteed to shatter our concentration, even when we're on a roll? Okay, here is the pro move. When that timer goes off, don't just jump up like a robot. Stop, take a breath, assess. Are you in the zone? Are ideas just firing on all cylinders? Then for heaven's sake, ignoring that timer is the most productive thing you can do. But if you've been staring at the same sentence for 5 minutes and your focus is shot, that's your cue. See, the timer isn't your boss, it's just a tool to help you check in with yourself. And speaking of breaks, when that timer does tell you it's time to step away, it leads us to maybe the most misunderstood part of this entire productivity puzzle: rest. Because how you rest matters so much more than how long you rest. Let's just be crystal clear about something. Scrolling through social media is not rest, period. It's the exact opposite of rest. It's just you blasting your brain with more noise, more information, more outrage. True rest, what we can call active relaxation, is about turning the volume down. It's about doing things that actually restore your mental energy, not just shift its focus to something else that's also draining. Think about it. Washing a few dishes. It's not really about the chore, is it? It's a mindful, physical task that lets your brain's background apps quietly work on that problem you were just stuck on. Tidying your desk creates physical order, which, believe it or not, creates a sense of mental order. This is how you actually truly recharge the batteries. Okay, so we're learning how to steer the boat and how to refuel properly. But in an ocean of infinite tasks, how in the world do we decide which direction to even point the rudder? We need a filter, an ultimate filter, to separate the signal from all the noise. The first part of our filter deals with urgency, and the question you have to ask yourself is brutally simple. What are the real consequences if this doesn't get done today? I don't mean, will someone be a little annoyed? I mean, will a project actually fail? If the answer is no, it might feel urgent, but it probably isn't. Now, the second part of the filter is all about importance. And this has zero to do with deadlines and everything to do with your destination. Does this task actually steer your boat toward the port you want to reach in life? Does it line up with your big, long-term goals for your career, your health, your personal growth? And when you put those two questions together, you get the famous Eisenhower matrix. But don't think of it as just some static box. Think of it as a dynamic filter for your attention. The whole game, the entire goal of a productive life, is to live in that top right quadrant as much as possible. Important, but not urgent. That's the zone of deep work, planning, and real growth. The do box is for emergencies, sure, but a true master of attention has very few emergencies to deal with in the first place. And this really gets right to the heart of it all. The urgent stuff, that's usually somebody else's agenda getting pushed onto your plate. The important stuff, that's your internal compass. That's what you demand of yourself to build the life you actually want. So after all of this, the metaphors, the tools, the frameworks, what's the ultimate secret? The big takeaway? Well, the secret is there is no secret system. There's no magic bullet. None of what we talked about is a rigid set of railroad tracks you have to follow perfectly. Think of it more like a compass and a map. The goal isn't to perfectly copy someone else's system, it's to become more aware of how your own brain works so you can build a system that works for you. You don't find a system, you are the system. So I'll leave you with this final thought, this one challenge. Tomorrow, when you wake up, what is the one predictable rock in your river that you can consciously decide to steer your boat around? What's the one common distraction you will choose to avoid? Start with that one small, deliberate act, because that is how you become the captain of your own ship.